Guten Morgen. One of the things I like to do is I like to find patterns in languages I don't fully understand and attempt to make the object from them. Today I'm going to attempt to follow a crochet pattern in German. Last time you saw me choose the pattern and I settled on Mackenzie Das Seepferdchen, which I believe to be a seahorse. It clearly looks like a seahorse, so I'm going to start that today. So I've chosen this lovely green color in order to start with the seahorse because since the time I've chosen the pattern, I found out that my cousin is pregnant again. So this, when I finish it, hopefully, like I've given myself some time to get it done, but it will be for baby. And it doesn't matter what gender the baby's going to be because the baby's going to be Irish, so green's a safe option. So we're going to get started with this. It looks like I'm starting with the head, which is a very good place to start. It says Kopf in ist blau. Oh, it's telling me the color. Cool. And then it says like 6 stitches in a Fadenring Arbiten. Fadenring, I looked it up here. It's what they call the magic ring. Yeah. And what's the abbreviation for it? There was an abbreviation page. Yeah, I'm sure I found the abbreviation page last time. I just gotta find it again. No, we just have little Sherlock there. Oh, single crochet. Wait. Yeah. It's very strange because the capitalization's a little bit different. They have a lowercase and then a lowercase f and then a capital M, and it's like... But I also know that German has like different capitalization than English does. Like English, it's like you always capitalize the start of each sentence, and this is like, nope, nope. So it wants me to do 6, which... Good start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I just pull it and voila! We have our little circle to get started with. I'm placing a marker here. It doesn't tell me to, but I know what I'm like. So, we're just going to do that. Now it says, it's like a number, so it's like 6 times 1 M son. I'm guessing son is increased because they have the amount of stitches that are supposed to be in the round in brackets and it goes from 6 to 12. And if I increase in every one, that would give me 12 stitches. So it's like in the past when I've done this, like both Spanish and French are romantic languages. German is not. So I don't necessarily have that same like mental thing like, oh, it's similar to this, I can go with this, that I could with either Spanish or French. Although if you know like several European languages, I recommend looking up the Wikipedia page for interlingua and then translating it into interlingua and seeing how much you understand. Because like it's a language, it's kind of like Esperanto in that like Esperanto tries to combine a bunch of languages from all over the world. Interlingua is like the European version of Esperanto. And like it's amazing how much is understandable without knowing the language if you know several European languages. Oh, so now this is like 1 stitch, 1 increase. And it says like do it 5 more times. So I'm guessing if you do it, and it does that for like the next 6 rounds. So we're just increasing. Okay. So it'll be like 6 times total, it looks like. It looks like it just gives it 1 instruction and then it tells you to do it 5 more times. Instead of what books typically do, it's like repeat this little nugget 6 times total. Honestly, it's easier the way that she explains it here. Oh yeah, you may also be wondering, hey Becky, didn't you just create a ram in French? Why couldn't you give that to little kiddo? And while I did just create a ram in French, I can't exactly give that ram away to any little family with kids at the moment because I started that ram when I had COVID. And I'm not about to introduce that germ into any like family systems that have unvaccinated people, which baby will be when baby comes out. So I do not have COVID now, thank God. And that means when I make baby will not be carrying COVID. Am I being over protective about this? Possibly, but when it comes to COVID, it's a little bit better to be on the more cautious side. So yeah, it's just gonna have me keep doing this for the next several rows. So I'll come back when it gives me a different instruction to interpret. I'm back. I've made a lot of progress on the head. You can see like the way that it had me do it makes it look relatively flat. While the picture shows it to be round, but I also know that's because I haven't stuffed it yet. And when I stuff it, the stuffing will force it to go out. But now I've hit the point where it wants me to decrease because I see the same, like in the past I've mentioned like there's a lot of symmetry with the patterns, like you go up one thing and then you want to come back, and then I can see the symmetry here. It had me increase, and then have me do the same, and the head is going to just be like a sphere. So it's now having me decrease, which I don't recognize the abbreviation, but I can recognize it's what it wants me to do because of the numbers in the brackets along the side. They're constantly going down the same way. And then after that, I have a whole paragraph that I will have to interpret in some form or another. But it already looks like I'm mostly done the head at this point. So I'll come back when it's time for me to tackle that paragraph. But for now, it's going to be a relatively big head for the seahorse. I have gotten to the point of the pattern where I have come to the paragraph and I have to figure out what the paragraph is telling me to do. it's giving me like numbers, and I don't understand everything, but I think I understand enough to understand what it's telling me to do. So if you look at our little seahorse friend here, our little seahorse friend has eyes and eyebrows, yeah? And considering I have that much left to crochet before we get a full sphere, it's probably telling me to add it, yeah? Especially since it's like, it's giving me between rows 20 and 21, so it means I have to count down, which I haven't really done. I don't usually do that. I usually do it by eye, but I'll give it the old college try, you know? And then it probably wants me to sew the eyebrows in, because it'd be much easier to sew it at this point than after the fact, and then just hoping that it stays secure, when I can be more secure by actually like tying a knot inside here, or no, it's not going to come out. The other thing that makes me a lot more confident in this is it has in gray ABB-1, and then it has a pic, which I'm assuming is about a picture, and then the first labeled picture looks like that. I hope I'm not like shining you out here, but like, you see they're placing the eyes like 8 stitches apart, and then they're showing like the two, round 21, 2 stitches. I'm very confident this is what it wants me to do. So, that's what we're going to do right now. So, as I place my hand inside here, we're going to count down 20. Yeah, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay. Oh! And as I do that, I just immediately lose track. Now, I have the little safety eyes, which we're going to put on. And we're going to put them in properly, because this is going to go to baby, and we don't want baby to choke on this. So I have the eye in, which means I now have to go to the inside and put the corresponding plastic bit in. It annoys me so much when I see people not do this part. There we go. It's in, it's not coming out. So it wants me to count 8 stitches. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, we'll just put it in the next stitch. Okay. And now we flip it inside out. And it's in. Our seahorse has eyes. It can see you. And now it kind of wants me to do like the... So I'm going to use some cotton yarn, because even though this is going to an Irish kid whose great-grandfather was a shepherd and therefore worked with wool, we're not going to make the assumption that the kid is not allergic to wool. I don't really like working with wool when I'm giving things to babies, because there's so many allergies nowadays, you have no idea what the kid's going to be allergic to, so why risk it? Wants me to do like 2 stitches, but I may exaggerate a little bit. So like, yeah. Look at that. So cute. And because I did a super long strand, we just get, as I have my hand in here, I'm just like trusting the process. Oop. Yeah. There you go. Go down to here. Yeah, yeah. There you go. exactly the same? Not exactly the same, but... Oh. Looks more worried that way. Let's take that out. We'll put it in the one next to it. And then I think they'll be a little bit more symmetrical. Although if we give the seahorse asymmetrical eyebrows, then it looks like me. That can't be a bad thing. You know, I had people who tried to... There you go. I had people who tried to change my eyebrows when I was younger. I didn't really like it, especially since part of it was like, oh my gosh, your eyebrows are so thick. And this was back in like the 2000s, early 2010s, where the super thin, like, sperm eyebrows were in. And I already know that thin eyebrows wouldn't fit me. So it's like, no, leave me alone. And then, lo and behold, 10 years later, thick eyebrows came back into vogue. And it was like, okay. It did bother me for a long time that these weren't symmetrical. But then, like, anytime I try to fix it, it never quite worked. So it's like, you know what? It's just easier if I appreciate how my eyebrows are. Anyway. Little buddy here has eyebrows. And it does, I don't really see anything that says it, but this would be the point where the pattern would typically say, stuff it, stuff it. So I have a lot of stuffing behind here, especially since I know this is closing as a circle. So I'm going to stuff it now. I'm going to follow my instincts here. There we go. And if it's not enough stuffing, I still got 3 more rows, it looks like. Or rounds. Rows, rounds, tomato, tomato. You know, I bought a 20-pound box and it's literally taking up so much real estate in my studio, but I'm still incredibly happy that I got it. I'm going to have to find a new home for it, obviously, but that requires mental energy that I don't have the mental energy for right now. Ooh. Look at that. Oh, it's coming together. So now I'm going to put the hook back in. And this is where I just do the counting, just the 1, 2. Then I decrease by 2. The next 2 stitches I decrease to make 1. Yeah. So then it's just 1, 2. Anyway, the next thing you're going to see is this as a complete object. Ta-da! Head is done, which is already like looking super cute. So it looks like, if it's a cognate, it looks like the next thing you'd have me do is the snout, because it says schnoz. I mean, well, with the head, there was like one last bit of instructions. I kind of just went on my assumption and just wove the end in. But the thing with the snout is, if you look at the snout of the seahorse, it starts with another color. So I realized I had to decide on the other color very quickly for the schnauzer. So I decided to go with this navy blue, even though it's a bit intense. I do think it's going to look very sharp. And like green and blue usually go together. I mean, the tones are the same. The underlying tone is the same. It doesn't clash that way. It might be a bit too sharp a contrast, but it's not going to clash. Which may not make much sense, but I promise you it makes sense to me. So we're going to start with the especially like, since I see schnauz, I think like schnauzer, and I think like dogs with the huge like snout. Like, that's like a German type of dog, isn't it? A schnauzer. So yeah, we're gonna work on the seahorse nose, which I guess, like, when I think of distinctive features of a seahorse, I think like, first I think the S shape of the body, you know, like the particular shape of the seahorse body. Then I think the fins, and then I think it's the nose is very distinctive. So let's make another Fadenring. So I didn't bother counting, but I think I'm still in the clear. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I just need to do one more. That's 6. There we go. And then we pull it, and that's why it's magic. It's like the crochet version of the one ring to rule them all. Although this would make a terrible wedding ring. Could you imagine? Just like, hi, I've got a ring for you. And then you like start a magic ring, and then you put it on your like potential spouse's finger, and then you pull it tight, and it's like, you're cutting off my circulations because I love you. Okay. Shut up, Becky. There you go. So I just increase in this one. So now you just got like the little nose, snout part. There we go. Oh, I forgot to reset the counter. I guess I should probably reset it. So I can do the clicky click. Now just, there we go. We're back on track. So now it wants me to make 1 stitch and increase 1, so we have 18. And then after that, it has the color change. I guess mitt is like color or something related to the skein of yarn, because I'm guessing blau is blue because the pattern has like 2 different types of blue. So one is like ice blau and the other is like roche blau. So the way I'm operating is this is going to be my Rosh Blau and this is going to be my Ice Blau. Beginning is a cognate though. I know that's like begin with that yarn. There we go. Oh, maybe. Yeah, here it's having me change the yarn to the Ice Blau. But I'm not going to finish this stitch with the Russian Blau. I'm going to just introduce the mint green now. And there's an abbreviation I haven't seen before, but I can kind of guess what it means. Because I've done other things in this scenario, and I know what it's told me in the past, and I can kind of see from the picture that this assumption isn't going to make me an ass. So usually when you've got like something that you want to remain flat and then you want to work as like the flat bottom, which happens a lot with like snouts and feet. When you like often change color or you start working in like the other direction, it has you work in the back loop only. So that way the yarn is more likely to bend for you, because otherwise you're going to get, that way you have like a flat bottom instead of having it curve on you like this. And that's what I'm assuming is having me do here, which I think is a safe assumption, because if you look at the snout of that, if I'm not like shining it out, there we go. If you look at the snout is like flat, even concave a little bit, honestly. And then as the color changes, you can see it like does a severe bend. So I think if I work in the back loop only, I will get that effect. So that's what I'm going to do. Oh yeah, fun fact about St. Patrick's Day. So green wasn't always the Irish color. When St. Patrick's Day first got started, his original color was blue. And then with the start of, during the time when England was literally colonizing everything it saw and was colonizing Ireland, Queen Victoria saw like how green Ireland was. It's like, no, St. Patrick's Day is green. And in fact, there's like, and because she is queen, it stuck. And there's actually this Irish song, like the Wearing of the Green, that's kind of like a protest song against that. It's like, oh, Paddy dear, oh, did you hear the news is going around? The shamrock cannot grow on the Irish ground. St. Patrick's Day cannot be keep his color can't be seen. So there's a cruel rule again, the wearing of the green. I read this from a book. I don't remember the book. I don't even know if we still have it. But it was like over 20 years ago. I can't even... All I remember about the book was that it was a paperback and it had a green cover. I don't know how accurate that is. But it's stuck in my mind, apparently. Like, heritage-wise, well, I mean, I live in the United States. I'm a United States citizen. But heritage-wise, I'm mostly Irish. Like, it looks like it wants me to increase. And then there's an abbreviation I don't understand. Wait, for that... Oh! I've been following that abbreviation without even knowing. So... Okay. Looks like backstitch only again. Yeah. So when it came to like school time and we had to research our heritage for like classes, Mom's like, focus on the Irish. You can find a lot more information on the Irish than the other ones. So I learned a lot more about my Irish heritage growing up than I did about like my French Canadian heritage or the weird like other European heritages that I had. But I had 23andMe. I spent my entire childhood believing I was only half Irish, but according to 23andMe, I'm more like 75% Irish. Although some of it could be British, and we would never know because the British and the Irish, despite their animosity, are technically the same genetically. It's having me increase and then decrease. So I guess to really put that in there. As soon as increase and the next it has me decrease. So, okay. I guess it's really to emphasize the fact of the bubbliness of that. Oh, I've been forgetting to do the clicky thing. I reset the whole clicker and then I forget to use it. And I'm on row 5 now. It's been 3 rows. Okay. There we go. I guess I could just weave this in, but I don't feel like it. So I'm just going to cut it. We'll use it to stuff another stuffed animal in the future. Just to get that like out of the way and more like inside here so it doesn't bother me. I recently used up all of my like yarn scraps. Like I save a lot of yarn scraps because I feel bad throwing yarn away. And just because it's like too short to make anything with doesn't mean it's no longer useful, because if it's too short to make something with, you can always stuff something with. And I recently stuffed a turtle with it. So now I don't have to work in just the back loop only like I did here. I can just work normally. Okay. Wait, unless that's... Oh, I messed up, didn't I? It's not the same abbreviation. So row 4 has like IVM, And row 5 has IHM. And that would also explain that look which I am now missing. Okay. We're going to put that there so I know where to stop. So with that one, I should have worked in the front loop only instead of the back loop only. That really would have emphasized that. And that would make more sense, honestly. Here I am blabbing my mouth off, distracting myself. That would really give more of the effect, honestly. You know, sometimes for my work, I've had to give audits on people. And sometimes the audit would just be, you're doing the job really well, you're just really distracted. Which, I mean, you look at the state of the world today, who wouldn't be distracted? There's so much going on. Like, back in, like, the 1930s, they literally had a news broadcast. It's like, there is no news. And that would not happen today. They would find something to talk about. The thing may not be conceivably important, but they would find something to talk about. Also, I mean, there's over 7 billion humans on the planet. Someone's going to try to take the spotlight, always. There we go. Oh, I don't have to do it because I took out and then redid. Yes. All right. Now, wait. I did it again. I did it again. I flapped my mouth off and I didn't do the thing. Boo. I don't have to take out the whole row this time. I only have to take out the 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, or in reality, only to 6. Because I forgot to increase. There you go. Ooh. Third time's a charm, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to go back to work tomorrow. I don't want to go back to work tomorrow. My days off were not enough. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Now it's correct. Okay. So now I can do the 6th row as it's meant to be done. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. And now we decrease. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. What's nice about this yarn was the fact that I was able to rework it 3 times and it didn't affect the yarn. Like, there are some yarns, like, you accidentally, like, they're so hard to work with, you end up splitting them, and then, you try to take them apart, and they're never quite the same. At least, like, with the cheap yarn, you never really have that problem. Now it really wants me to decrease. It wants me to decrease every other one with row 7. All right. Seahorse's snout's almost like a hammer. With the way that the snout looks. Ooh. Yeah, I could pretty much just steal this section and I would have like the bang, bang, bang hammer of a hammer if I ever decide to create a pattern for one. Unless it was a ball hammer. But I'm talking like traditional hammers, just like the normal type that you would have, just a hammer a nail into a wall. Am I off? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. No, I'm not off. I just probably did the increases in the wrong way. Okay. Anyway, the next several rows are just the same. So I'll come back in a little bit. And we have our little snouts. Adorable, right? I left a long thing of yarn, even though I'm not sure if that's what it told me to do or not, because that's just common sense. That's how this is going to get attached, like that. So I decided just to make that assumption. And now we're at the copper, which I believe to be the body. It's strange, like, when you look at different languages and you see, like, because my assumption that this is the body is not based off of English, but based off what I've seen like in French and Spanish with like, in French it was like corps, and then now it's like copa with an umlaut. Anyway, now it's time for another magic ring. I just put on 6, and you know that off-color joke I made earlier in this video? Yeah, I'm actually going to try and see what it feels like. Once there's enough, so... Ooh. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I make this tighter. If I put it around the finger as I do it, what does it feel like? I can't even grasp it the correct way. I mean, it looks kind of stupid. It's, well, now it's starting to cut off the circulation like that. When it was a little bit looser, it was fine. But it's not permanent and it looks kind of stupid. In order for that to, like, really work, you would have to do, like... Well, if that's 6, I would have to do at least 15. We're gonna finish the job now. Anyway. Now we know. I'm sure I've mentioned this in a video before, but I had a coworker mention to me that he was curious what the tape tasted like. And now that he's mentioned it, I can't stop thinking about it. It's been a year. At least. Anyway, this is now just having me do 6 stitches without increasing, which makes me think that I'm starting with the tail and not the head. Because if this was, well, by head I mean neck, because clearly I've already finished the head. Because if this was the neck, I probably would have started increasing immediately. I haven't tasted the tape yet because I'm supposed to be a role model at work. And role models don't do stupid stuff like that. The first boss I ever had would repeat constantly, "Don't be stupid." Which, when you are when you're running a Boy Scout camp of over 100 staff under at least half of which are teenage boys, it's surprisingly effective advice. There we go. Alright, so now it wants me to increase for the first time with the 4th round, and then the 5th round's like this. And then they have instructions that I don't understand. But we knew that was going to happen eventually. I mean, I'm reading a book in a language I don't understand. that's kind of the whole point of this challenge, right? Is to see if I can figure it out despite what's going on. So it wants me to do like 2 stitches and then increase. And then just 2 rounds, just easy plain 2 rounds of 8 stitches. This is starting to bother me, so I'm just going to snip it. It won't bother me for too much longer, provided the scissors don't stay on top of the yarn like they just were. Yeah, I can feel like my hair right here, and it's just like telling me, Becky, you need a haircut. I'll get one eventually. There we go. So now I have another set of lovely instructions to follow, where I do 3 and then I increase 1. So I have, oh, I see how the math works now. Okay. What stitch am I working? I'm working in that one, so I still have that one. Okay. All right. So now it's telling me, I mean, I have a guess of what it might be telling me, but there's also, unfortunately, like no little gray thing saying like, look at this picture. So I'm looking at like, den Anfangsfaden Swischgender 4 und 5 round nach openvuren. Es ist nicht wichtig an welcher Stelle Sie das tun, da ihr später noch an Passungen vorgenommen werden. It wants me to do something between rounds 4 and 5. And if I look at the picture, like, my belief is that I'm like right around here in the tail. So it makes me think that it wants me to like sew it so it stays curled. Would be my guess. So something like that, maybe. And it's having me do it now because it's easier to reach. But as I'm looking forward in the instructions, they're just having me increase. So theoretically, I should still be able to like reach it. Yeah, the numbers in the brackets just keep on increasing. We're going to take a leap of faith here. So that's 7, 6, so let me get a needle. And that should be all the yarn I need, yeah. Okay. Means we're not going to be able to stuff this part, but the tail, that part of the tail did not look stuffed anyway. So. And my guess is like the word furin is so, maybe? Like, because of my World War II associations, I just think like, oh, the Fuhrer, but that's clearly what it isn't in this context. There we go. I hope I did the right thing. We're going to trim that. We have that. Okay. Anyway, if I ever have to take this apart, it's going to be a pain. And rows 8 to 9 just want me to continue with that. There's that. So at this point, it looks like it's just having me do more of like, do some rows, then increase on a row, then do some rows and increase on a row. So I'm going to come back when there's a little bit more progress and it has me do another weird instruction, which I see one of the words. It says, damn it. Which I know it doesn't mean the same thing in German that that does in English, but it's just so funny, just in the middle of a crochet pattern. Damn it. Anyway, I'll get back to you. I've made more progress on the tail, and I realized that I probably did not interpret that paragraph correctly earlier. Like, I'm not at the second paragraph yet. I still don't know what the second paragraph is going to mean. But I think I'm actually going to be in a position where I can disregard both and hopefully be perfectly fine. Because it's having me, like, throughout the entire time, it's only having me increase in, like, 2 positions, which is like this, which means sewing it down here is a complete crapshoot. And the fact that I got it there was like that. But if you look at the picture of, like, later on, and you look at the tail doesn't have that. It's, like, farther along than I am right now, and the tail isn't stuffed. I mean, well, it's stuffed, but it's not sewn like that, which means I probably shouldn't have done that sewing thing. So, fortunately, it's a quick fix. Boom. Just take that apart and back to that, and we'll sew it later as it needs to be sewn. We're just not going to worry about that right now. And I'll be able to just keep on going and keep on increasing and see how it goes. I finished the body. As it turned out, I could not sleep for the life of me when I came home from work this morning. So I got most of this done then. Because I was, like, so tired, because, like, when I was working on this, I was approaching 24 hours awake. I was afraid I'd misread the pattern, but no, I hadn't. I thought I'd misread it. It's like, oh, I was supposed to be doing it in, like, the thing, but, like, no, I was supposed to do it normally. And I caught it, like, I finished it just now, and I caught it with where it wanted me to do a different color and where it wanted me to knit on only one half of it, so it does it for the next step. I see some instructions, like, particularly the damn it one I was, like, laughing about the last time I turned this on. I still have no idea what it wants me to do, except it wants me to mark some rounds. My guess is it was giving me instructions for this. Like, I know that instruction is coming somewhere. I just don't know when it came, and, like, there were other instructions for, like, marking rounds that I got. I saw something about cutting a long piece of yarn. I'm assuming it was that. I hope I did that right. But the good news is I don't have to think about it yet. I can just start crocheting another part of the seahorse, and I can stuff this later. Anyway, I think that's where I'm going to end this part of the video, because, I mean, I got that, and that's a lot for one video. And I think next time we're going to be starting with whatever the Kragen is, and hope I'm in, like, a little bit more of a mindset to understand it, because, like, I can already tell you right now that my mind is melted. Just events in my life have caused my mind to be melted. So when I come back, I will hopefully be of more sane mind, and we will get on the fun frilly stuff of the seahorse. Auf Wiedersehen. You can tell how scatterbrained I am because I forgot to do my normal outro. So, that was today's entertainment. Have a nice day. Auf Wiedersehen.